The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to his disciples, "To you who hear I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who mistreat you. To the person who strikes you on one cheek, offer the other one as well. And from the person who takes your cloak, do not withhold even your tunic. Give to everyone who asks of you, and from the one who takes what is yours, do not demand it back. Do to others as you would have them to do to you. For if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do the same. If you lend money to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners and get back the same amount. But rather, love your enemies and do good to them, and lend expecting nothing back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, for He Himself is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Stop judging, and you will not be judged. Stop condemning, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and gifts will be given to you. A good measure, packed together, shaken down, and overflowing, will be poured into your lap. For the measure with which you measure will in return be measured out to you." The Gospel of the Lord. There was a story of two men who were enemies. One day, one of the men saw his enemy's daughter, so he captured her, cut off her 2 fingers, and then he released her and joyfully thought that he had successfully taken revenge of his enemy. Many years later, the little girl in the story grew up, and one day she saw a beggar coming to her house, and she immediately recognized that the beggar was the one who cut off her fingers many years ago. But she didn't do anything. She didn't show any anger or attitude. Instead, she quietly went into the kitchen, get some food, and gave it to the beggar. And she waited for him to finish eating. Then she showed him her hand with 2 missing fingers. And then she said to the beggar, "Today I have had my revenge." Today Jesus told us in the Gospel, "Do to others as you would have them to do to you." If we want to receive forgiveness and peace and kindness and love, we cannot just sit there and wait for those things to come. But we have to work with God to make those things happen. So the first thing I'd like to share with you today is that the best way to respond to those we don't like and to things that make us frustrated and anxious is not spreading the same kind of negativity. It doesn't help anyone. But instead, let us transform negativity with positivity. Let us be the source of goodness and grace of God for ourselves and for one another. When we get angry, we are the one who's going to be affected first, not our enemies. In the first reading from the first book of Samuel, we heard the story of the second time David spared the life of King Saul, despite the fact that King Saul always wanted to kill David, because he learned that David was anointed by God to replace him. 2 times, David could have taken Saul's life, and 2 times, David forbade his men to harm Saul. After King Saul learned about David's honorable actions, he eventually regretted pursuing David in the first place, and he even blessed David in whatever he did in the future. So we can see that any act of kindness may bring much more than we could ever imagine, and it may not be immediate that we could feel and see the outcome of what we do. And one of the main reasons why we cannot forgive others is that we still consider ourselves more important than them. We still hold on to our own ego, our pride, our security, and we don't consider our relationship with that person as important to the point that we are willing to sacrifice a part of our own ego to maintain our relationship with that person. When we really love and care about someone, winning a fight is not going to be as important as to make peace and to show love to that person. So the second thing I'd like to share with you today is that between safeguarding our own ego and our own pride and maintaining our relationship with somebody, let us respond first with kindness and love and forgiveness before showing judgments, hatred, and anger. Reprioritize your attitude toward others. Show positivity before negativity. Saying that doesn't mean that showing love and kindness and forgiveness to others is an easy thing to do for everyone. But I can guarantee you that we can all do it if we want to, step by step, every day. Because St. Paul reminds us in the second reading, in his first letter to the Corinthians, we bear not only the image of an earthly origin, as we will be reminded again on Ash Wednesday, that we are from dust, and to dust we shall return, but we also bear the image of a heavenly origin, that is of Jesus Christ, whose body and blood we consume at the Eucharist, and Jesus Christ become one with us through the Eucharist. That is why if we think that we cannot forgive before we try, if we think that we cannot be kind to one another before we try, and if we think we cannot love somebody before we try, we fail by default because we are stuck in our earthly origin. But because we are also of heavenly origin, we are capable of greatness. We are capable of extraordinary things. And showing love and kindness and forgiveness to others, especially to those who are not loving, who are not kind, and who are not forgiving to us. Showing love and kindness and forgiveness to them is what helps to manifest the truth that we are from God. We are acting on behalf of God. We are of heavenly origin. So, brothers and sisters, on this 7th Sunday of Ordinary Time, let us together reflect on the 3 points that I have just shared with you. First, the best way to respond to those we don't like and to things that make us frustrated and anxious is not spreading the same kind of negativity, but instead, let us transform negativity with positivity. Let us be the source of goodness and grace of God for ourselves and for one another. When we get angry, we are the one who suffer first. Second, between safeguarding our own pride and our own ego and maintaining of our relationship with somebody, let us first, with kindness and love and forgiveness, show others kindness and love and forgiveness before hatred, judgment, and anger. And third, we are not of earthly origin only, but we are also of heavenly origin. That is why we are capable of greatness, capable of extraordinary things. That is, to show love and kindness and forgiveness to those we don't like, to manifest the truth that we are from God, that we are capable of greatness, that we are acting on behalf of God. Let us respond to negativity in life with positivity. Let us prioritize kindness and love and forgiveness over judgment, hatred, and anger. And let us show our heavenly origin by doing good, even to those who are not good to us. May God, who has begun a good work in us, also bring it to fruitful completion. Amen.